Have you ever noticed that emotions feel stronger at night? During the day, you may feel completely normal and busy, focused on work and tasks, handling everything just fine. But when night comes, when the lights dim and the world gets quiet, your mind suddenly fills with thoughts and feelings. You start remembering old memories you had not thought about in years. You worry about the future. You feel unexpectedly sad or anxious or lonely. And you wonder why this happens. Why do emotions that you could easily manage during the day suddenly feel overwhelming when the sun goes down? But here is what you need to know. This is not random. This is not you being weak or overly emotional. Science shows that the brain actually behaves very differently at night, and by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why nighttime makes you more emotional and what is really happening in your brain and body when darkness falls. Let me start by explaining the main concept. Nighttime emotions are influenced by several factors working together. Your brain activity changes, your hormones shift, you experience mental fatigue from the day, and most importantly, distractions disappear. During the busy day, you are constantly occupied. Your mind is engaged with tasks, conversations, problems to solve, things to do. But when the day ends and everything becomes quiet, when you finally stop moving and sit with yourself, the brain finally starts processing emotions that were ignored or pushed aside during the day. All those feelings you did not have time for suddenly demand your attention. Now let me explain the science behind this, starting with your circadian rhythm, which is your body's internal clock. The human body runs on a 24-hour cycle called the circadian rhythm. This biological system controls when you feel sleepy, when you feel alert, your energy levels throughout the day, and when different hormones are released. As night approaches and darkness increases, your brain begins preparing for rest. It starts shifting into a different mode. And during this transition, your emotional control becomes weaker. The systems in your brain that regulate and manage emotions start to power down as your brain prepares for sleep. This means that feelings can become stronger and harder to control at night, simply because your biological systems are changing states. And this brings us to one of the most important factors, which is prefrontal cortex fatigue. Your prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain located right behind your forehead, and it is responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, planning, and critically, emotional control. Throughout the entire day, your prefrontal cortex is working constantly. It is making hundreds of decisions, solving problems, managing your behavior, regulating your emotions, keeping you focused. And just like a muscle that gets tired from use, your prefrontal cortex becomes mentally exhausted by nighttime. When it is fatigued, when it has used up its energy reserves, it cannot regulate emotions as effectively as it could in the morning. This is why the same thought that you could brush off easily at 10 in the morning might make you cry at 10 at night. Your emotional control center is offline. At the same time, while your prefrontal cortex is getting weaker, another part of your brain is becoming more reactive. The amygdala is your brain's emotional alarm system. It processes fear, sadness, anxiety, and other emotional reactions. And here's what research has discovered. Studies show that when the brain is tired, the amygdala becomes hyperreactive. It responds more intensely to emotional stimuli. Small thoughts or memories that would barely register during the day can suddenly trigger strong emotional reactions at night. Because your amygdala is in a heightened state, while your prefrontal cortex is too tired to calm it down. You have lost the balance between emotion and regulation. But it is not just brain regions. Your hormones are also changing at night in ways that affect your emotions. Two important hormones shift during the evening. First, cortisol, which is your main stress hormone. Cortisol follows a daily pattern. It is highest in the morning to help you wake up and feel alert, and it gradually decreases throughout the day until it reaches its lowest point at night. Now, high cortisol is associated with stress, but very low cortisol can actually make you feel emotionally vulnerable and less resilient. You have less of that stress hormone buffering you from emotional impact. Second, melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, increases at night. Melatonin signals to your body that it is time to rest. It slows brain activity and encourages a more reflective, inward-focused state. This slower, quieter mental state can naturally make the mind more emotional and contemplative. Then there is the simple reality of mental fatigue from the day. Think about everything your brain has dealt with from the moment you woke up until night. Work pressure, social interactions where you had to monitor yourself and respond appropriately, constant decision-making about small and large things, emails and messages, and information coming at you all day. By nighttime, your mental energy is completely drained. You have used up your cognitive and emotional resources. And when the brain slows down, when you finally stop the constant doing, all those unresolved emotions that you pushed aside during the day finally surface. You did not have time to feel them before, but now you do, and they all come flooding in at once. And there is another critical factor. During the day, you are surrounded by distractions. Work keeps you busy. Your phone constantly demands attention. You have conversations to navigate. You have responsibilities pulling you in different directions. But at night, these distractions disappear. Work is done. People have gone to sleep. The world is quiet. And when everything becomes quiet, when there is nothing external demanding your attention, your brain starts focusing inward. It turns toward your thoughts, your memories, your worries. This often leads to deep thinking, emotional reflection, and unfortunately, overthinking. This connects to what happens in your brain before sleep, which is memory processing. Before you fall asleep, your brain reviews experiences from the day. This is actually an important function. Your brain is consolidating memories, processing information, making sense of what happened. Two important brain systems become particularly active during this time. The hippocampus processes and organizes memories. And the limbic system, which includes the amygdala, processes the emotional content of those memories. This brain activity can trigger emotional memories. You might suddenly remember something from your past, feel nostalgia for earlier times in your life, experience regret about choices you made, think about past relationships or old experiences. These memories come with emotions attached, and suddenly you are feeling things you were not expecting to feel. For many people, night also increases feelings of loneliness. Nighttime naturally reduces social interaction. There are fewer conversations happening. Fewer people are around and available. Environments become quieter and more isolated. Even if you live with others, night can feel lonely because everyone retreats to their own space. This reduced social connection can significantly increase feelings of loneliness and emotional vulnerability, especially for people who live alone or who struggle with isolation. And then there is overthinking and rumination, which becomes much worse at night. Rumination means repeatedly thinking about the same problems or worries over and over without reaching any resolution. At night, without distractions to interrupt the thought loops, many people start ruminating. They think about mistakes from the past, embarrassing moments they wish they could take back, all the things they should have said or done differently, worries about the future and everything that could go wrong. And without the distractions of the day to pull them out of these thought patterns, the thoughts can spiral and feel much bigger than they actually are. Sleep deprivation makes all of this even worse. When someone is not getting enough sleep, when they are chronically sleep deprived, emotional control weakens significantly, negative thoughts increase. The brain becomes much more sensitive to stress and emotional triggers. Research shows that lack of sleep can dramatically increase emotional reactivity. So if you have been sleeping poorly, your nighttime emotions are going to be even more intense. There is even an evolutionary explanation for nighttime emotional sensitivity. In early human history, nighttime was genuinely dangerous. Darkness reduced visibility, making it harder to see threats. Predators were more active at night. Humans were more vulnerable without daylight. Because of this, the brain evolved to become more alert and emotionally sensitive at night as a survival mechanism. We needed heightened awareness to detect danger in the dark. Some of this ancient biological wiring still affects us today, making us more emotionally reactive when the sun goes down. Here is an interesting fact that ties all of this together. Scientists have found that emotional regulation capacity decreases significantly when the brain becomes tired. This is why problems that seem completely manageable during the day can feel absolutely overwhelming at night. It is not that the problems got bigger. It is that your capacity to handle them got smaller. So let me bring this together. Feeling emotional at night is completely normal and scientifically explainable. It happens because your prefrontal cortex is tired, your amygdala is hyperreactive, your hormones are shifting, your mental energy is depleted, and all your distractions have disappeared. Nighttime gives your mind space to process emotions that were ignored during the busy day. Understanding this can help you manage your thoughts and emotions more calmly. When you feel overwhelmed at night, you can remind yourself that this is your tired brain, not reality. The problems will look different in the morning when your brain has rested and your emotional regulation is back online. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.